It's the voice of the one and only DJ Scream, letting you know that you are now in tune to the Casual Flex, where culture meets sports and casuals are welcome. Now here's your host, Philip Dukes.
Yo, welcome to a very, very special edition of the Casual Flex. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And also make sure you hit that like button and also go down there and subscribe. So tonight, we have one of my good personal friends and also one of the best high school football coaches in the country. He has a nationally ranked team. I would probably say at least 15 Division I prospects at minimum on his team, and the favorite to win the 6A state championship in Georgia at Langston Hughes. None other than Daniel Boone Williams. What's up, Boone?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you having me on. You do an amazing job.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? I appreciate it, man. And man, it's cool that we get to do this. For those that don't know, man, we go back like I would say probably maybe 30 years, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Like before, like when Boone had the thick glasses, that was my partner back then.
Back then, yeah,
yes,
but
sir.
No, still right with.
No, but look, man. So Boone, like, let's cut to the chase. Boone, Auburn is recruiting at least 6-7 of your players right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Auburn has a new coach, head coach Hugh Freeze. In your opinion, what does Hugh Freeze have to do to get Auburn into Langston Hughes and get some guys to commit?
He has to these kids want to feel wanted.
Okay.
I often tell my kids, love who love you. When the kids feel the love come from colleges, whether big or small, nationally ranked or not, love who love you. Because like I always tell my kids, you know, that coach may be gone, but if I love the university for itself, and I visited a couple of times, I'll feel comfortable there.
Right. Now that's a great answer. And so let me ask you this: what school do you feel like it can be Auburn, it can be anybody? What school do you feel like has done the best job of recruiting your players?
I mean, that's a tough question because different schools have different philosophies, the different ways of going about it. Some schools they don't want to bombard the players, but they do a good job. In other schools, they just want to try to do what everybody else is doing and come in. I mean, like I said, let me see a school that's done a good job recruit my players. Miami, Georgia Tech. Georgia's done a good job. I mean, every open time they get a chance, they're in the building. Auburn Auburn last staff has some guys in there. A lot of the SEC schools really do big. Georgia Tech, with Coach Knight down there, he does a good job getting in the building.
Right.
So just those are some of the few.
No, that's dope. The fact that us being from the South Side, and so when we was coming up, it was hard to get that type of attention on the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you had like all type of all world players, like I went to Banneker, we had D. Watts, and you went to Creekside, and you had guys like B. Glover and John Geist yourself, like Lil Ratner, like it was a lot of guys, right? Rike, and so
D-Watt.
Yeah, so when you think about it, what do you think the biggest difference is between the South Side when we grew up and the South Side now with all the attention being placed on these athletes?
For one, the level of play. The level of play is definitely increased from when we were coming up. I think it's more athletes spread amongst the South Side. Social media. That's one of the biggest reasons why it is what it is now. Because when we were in school, we had VHSs. So how would Kansas find my tape?
Right.
Would I mail it to Kansas? And now all you gotta do is click a link, put it on Twitter. Oh wow, that's a nice play.
Right.
And it goes. It's a ripple effect. When a kid gets offered, it's like everybody down that street has to offer their kid because that's one conference. One conference lives on that street. If you offer, everybody on that street gonna offer. Right. And that's usually kind of how it is right now. So it's a multitude of reasons why recruiting is where it is, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So let's talk about one player in particular. Let's talk about Jelani Thurman, aka Tank. So Tank maybe 2 years ago didn't have all these schools. Right now, he's probably, I know for a fact, he's Auburn's top target at tight end and a lot of schools. He's committed to Ohio State right now. In your opinion, what improved in Tank's game that allowed him to become Auburn's top target and a lot of schools' top target?
His athletic ability would never be questioned. I think that he came into his own, and when he first got his first offer, I told somebody, I said he was learning how to play long. I mean, he's 6'6", legit,
Right.
and he learned how to play with that leverage amongst other guys that going around the country. And I was talking to a coach today that came in, saw our practice. I said, he's a unicorn in high school football in the state of Georgia. You don't have many of those. He was like, man, he's long. He said he can play receiver. He's so athletic, though. His slim build, and he's able to get in and out of breaks. His hands, he has a 4X glove. So it's so many different things he has, and people often tell him he has a lot of untapped potential. And I tell him use that as motivation because potential means you haven't arrived yet. So that's some of the stuff I challenge him with right now for when he gets to Ohio State or wherever he chooses to sign with on the 21st.
Right. So Auburn has a commit from your safety, Terrence Love. A lot of teams thought that T. Love may have been a linebacker, but you play him at safety, and Auburn sees him as a safety. What do you think are the advantages of having Terrence Love at safety versus linebacker?
He is so smart. T. Love does an amazing job. I mean, because you got to think, Terrence has been a receiver for us. He has receiver offers. So he's athletic enough to do anything needed. I mean, he can cover your slot guys. He can play on top. He can play the top of cover 3. He can flat foot read. He can react. He can open up and burst. He recognizes leverage from the receiver's routes, alignment, assignment. I mean, he does so many good things. And he's 6'3", probably about 214 right now.
Right.
And he's bigger than backers, but he can play. It's a such thing as a big safety, and he can play the big safety.
Right. And a lot of people don't know how good T. Love really was as a quarterback.
Yeah. T. Love was the team. Well, I got about 8 of them. When they were coming through rec league, I don't think that team lost. That team didn't lose. And I think from 6 to 12, they were rarely scored on, or they were scored on. And T. Love was the quarterback that made them go win championship after championship after championship.
Right. So when it comes to T. Love playing quarterback, how often do you put him in that role just to see? Because you got a guy now, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but you got a real guy at quarterback. But if you had to go with T. Love, do you think you can win ball games?
I definitely win ball games with T. Love.
Absolutely.
Smart. I mean, that kid has a 4.0 GPA. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
Whatever's needed, he's going to find a way to do it and get it done.
Can he throw it?
Yes, he can throw it. I mean, he threw it the other day in practice, almost 80 yards.
Boone, you know that man that threw that ball on 80 yards, Boone. Come on, man.
I mean, it was about 72. So anything over 70 is 80.
I hear
they got this thing, they try to hit the goalpost, the crossbar on the goalpost at practice, and he'll hit it every time you turn around. T. Love hit it again.
Man. Okay, cool. Watch this. All right, so we going from quarterback, your could-be quarterback, to your current quarterback in 2024 prospect, Air Nolan. So Air has been the guy. So we know about Air. Like in Atlanta, Air's been that guy, right? But now the nation is starting to catch on, and he's been Auburn's #1 target at quarterback for a while now. What makes Air so special, even being left-handed? And because a lot of guys, shy away from left-handed quarterbacks. But what makes him so special as a quarterback, and what lets you know that he was the leader of that team, even though he was a younger guy?
What makes him special? He's a champion. He's a winner.
Right.
He has the willingness to win in everything he does. I mean, he's the guy we rally behind that kid. We've been rallying behind that kid. I mean, he's just different. When his first workout with us, he led from the front. He continues to lead from the front. I mean, he is where he needs to be on time. He's, you know what I'm saying? He goes to meetings still with the notebook, pregame with the notebook, with his notes. I mean, he has championship behavior all the time. And that's he really does. I mean, you go try to find knocks on him, and he's still trying to do it right. I mean, he's a kid, you know what I'm saying? He does some stuff, but all in all, he has championship behaviors all running through his veins.
That's crazy. And his dad is a really, really established coach in the youth league on the South Side, and somebody I looked up to growing up, the original heir. Coach P, what we call him, the original heir. But let me ask you this. So you got all of these guys. We ain't even talked about Bo yet. We'll talk about Bo in a minute. But you got all of these guys. I mean, 4 stars, 5 stars. Like, you just got 3 stars. We're not even talking about the guys that haven't even met the rankings like a Dontrell Glover, like Lil Poppy. Like you got guys, man. How do you keep that team together knowing how much star power you have on the high school level?
That team when I grew up together.
Okay.
That was a team when this senior class was my first year coaching. We were 2-8.
Mm-hmm.
We have grown together, so they understand. I don't come from a different. I didn't take the job to springboard to go into other places. I wanted a job. I knew what the Southside community was.
Right.
I know what Langston Hughes could be. And we talked about this when we were 2-8. I said, we're going to turn the corner. And we're going to roll. And we're in the midst of that roll right now. And they know it. And like I tell them all the time, I ain't going to never tell you a lie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to believe me. And if we do what we need to do, we'll be fine. I tell them that every day. And they understand. So right now, they're hungry.
Yeah, they hungry, man. Like, and it's crazy because sometimes a lot of these kids I've seen like growing up, and I'm seeing them now, and the fact that I write for, like, you know, I'm writing for 24/7, and it's like, dang, like, yeah, I never thought that I would run back into some of these kids like being at where I'm doing now, but seeing them now, it's like, man, like when they say, hey, you need to go interview this kid, I'm like, oh, I know him, I know his parents, I know, it's wild. So from somebody like you or somebody like me on the South Side, how important do you think it is for them to block out the noise that sometimes we get on this side of town and be able to focus on football?
It's really important. I mean, like I said, I often tell them, we got this thing at the end of practice, LH. So we circle up around LH. And I tell them all the time, they're not in this circle, it doesn't matter.
Right.
What's being said outside of what they think may happen, if it ain't meant happen right here, it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Matter.
I believe the people in here, and I tell them all the time in the locker room, I was shooting in the gym with these guys right here. And that's what I'm going to go forward with. Regardless of what they say or do, everybody over here gets a piece of the pie.
Right. Like, I think having that accountability will help keep some of them out of trouble. Like, because I'm watching, and it was funny because I came to an event there not too long ago, and I saw Lil Dave there, and Lil Dave is like, and I call him Lil Dave. Lil Dave big now, but call him Lil Dave. We talking about Lil Dave from Another Bad Creation, the Dave recording Shields. Group, and I see Lil Dave, and I'm asking Lil Dave, I'm like, Dave, what's up, man? I didn't even know you was over here. And I asked Lil Dave, and I'm like, hey, man, so what? Like, how's your experience been? And he was like, man, a lot of these kids are disrespectful. And I said, well, I've been interviewing some kids from over here. I got some guys over here. And he was like, oh, no, all them kids got something to live for. Boone got them in control. And what type of leadership do you see from your football players that stands out from the rest of some of the student population?
For one, 2 years ago, we had a team GPA of 3.1. Last year, we dipped a bit to a 3.0. I think we may be hovering back around the 3.1 thing. So first thing first, with academics first. We are in the building. I got 2 kids with 4.0s right now.
Right.
I got 7 kids with a 3.8 or higher. I mean, a 3.7 or higher. So academics play a part,
Right.
and we got some non-negotiables, and we just move in the building, not like everybody else.
Right.
Kids can't wear hats, hoods, Crocs, or slides. So
Right.
those are some of the things that set us apart, to the rest of the population. They got to sit in the first 3 rows in the classroom. So it's different things we do that are non-negotiable, mandatories that I do, and what everybody in the building knows football players.
Right. I mean, this is one of the top high school football teams in the state of Georgia ever. And I think that, even though you guys are in the semifinals right now, regardless if you guys win or not, this is still one of the top teams and one of the top talent collections in the history of the state. So let's talk about another player. You've got an offensive tackle by the name of Jonathan Bo Hughley. Bo is committed to Georgia. And what do you like most about his game? And what do you think Bo likes the most about Auburn?
About his game, Bo is a student. He's eager to get better. He often hears that he's raw at the position, and he's this, he's that. So he's always trying to do things to make sure he's better. His technique is sound. A couple years ago, if you watch his tape, he's grabbing people and just being barbaric, really barbaric with his blocking. Now it's more technical. He's kick, catch. He's patient. He's understanding playing the tackle position and what it could do for him.
Right.
He's a phenomenal kid. I mean, he's just eager to get better. What I think he likes about Auburn, I think he likes the proximity.
Right.
And he also loves the what's the word? The family feel he gets when he goes down there.
Right.
He enjoys that.
So you got another guy that was kind of under the radar for a long time, which was Joshua Horton. And now he's not a surprise to anybody. So, we had a talk a little while ago, and we talked about everybody you had, and you said, Duke, man, you didn't even ask me about Josh. And I didn't know Josh. I knew everybody else. I didn't know Josh. You said, you didn't even ask me about Josh. And you said, come see him. And I went, and I said, hey, dog, bro, who's on him? You said, nobody yet, but they coming. And you were right. So when it comes down to Josh Horton, what do you think is the best part of his game? And where do you think he'll be most successful position-wise? Maybe a 5 technique, a 4-wide, 3. What do you think he'll be most successful in college? And the last part of it is, what do you think Josh likes about Auburn?
Josh, best part of his game is he's the most coachable kid I've ever coached.
Coachable.
Josh,
okay.
Very coachable. So if you tell Josh to step with his right foot forward and his left foot turned back, he's gonna find a way to do it because he's coaching. His hand placement is always right. His technique is always right. He does a great job just being in the know of where he needs to be is coached. What you go through in practice, you're gonna see on Friday with Josh.
Right.
I think that he is one. You often see a kid and he's a pro, regardless. Right. Josh is gonna make it because of his willingness to do what he's told to do, man. A lot of times kids get so big they lose sight of that. Josh is gonna be a pro. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right.
He's just like my kids have been going to Auburn as groups, man. I got a picture from the recruiting assistant, Abby. She sent me a picture, and it was like maybe 13 of my kids. Like, Auburn. Went down there. But Josh is just like the rest of them. They give him a home feeling being at Auburn.
Right. So when it comes to Coach Hugh Freeze, what do you know about Hugh Freeze as far as his recruiting style? And what do you think he has to do? Because you got to look at it. You got Tank, Jelani Thurman is committed to Ohio State. You got Josh is committed to North Carolina. A lot of people think that he's going to flip to Miami real soon. You got Bo, who's committed to Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got Air, who's got everybody in the country at him now,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally was an Auburn lean for a long time, maybe up until now. I think everything's even now. I think Texas A&M made a big impression on him. So what does Auburn have to do in order to get into Langston Hughes and kind of create that pipeline like it seems like they want to?
They just got to show the kids they want it. I mean,
Right.
honestly, that's the closest SEC school to our school.
Right.
So for them to get in the building, get the kids on campus, and continue just to showing them that, hey, we want, and really have coaches that recruit these players. So a lot of times schools put out offers and the
Right.
kids get an offer and they don't hear from the coaches.
Mm.
But I don't really know how they feel, So if Auburn really wants to get in, they have to recruit the kids, and I know that's,
I mean,
it's
all right,
1,000
Boone,
kids.
Boone, let's go here. All right, so me and let's talk. And I wouldn't say this, but now that I can, there were some position coaches that were recruiting guys at Langston Hughes. That aren't committed. That would you say that they weren't as consistent as other coaches when it came to recruiting? And I'm not going. We can't talk about T Love because Zach did a great job recruiting him. That's why he's committed. So Zach Etheridge, I'm speaking about. But outside of that, would you agree that Auburn could have done a better job previously with being in more constant communication with some of your players?
Yes, no question. I've seen what other schools have done across the country. I mean, I got a West Coast school, and you would have thought it's down the street from Langston Hughes where they call me and text me
Right.
anytime, day or night. So it's they want to know. It could have been different, And when I say that, I'm saying that they could have really shown interest in these kids, and then the kids don't take a lot. It don't take a lot to impress the kids.
Right.
They're not talkers. They're texters.
Right.
So just have a guy say, hey, I'm this from Auburn and I'm just shooting you a text, just checking on you. And that's all it is sometimes.
Right.
It's not a full-blown conversation every time. It's just the fact of knowing that, okay, yeah. Because who hit you up? Shit, Auburn hit me up. Or Georgia hit me up. Or LSU hit me up. But when I ask the kids, multiple kids, and it ain't Auburn, they don't have any interest.
See, and that's one of the things that I was hearing. But what I will say is that what I like about what you do is you're not based on a school. You're based on the kid. You're based on who wants who and where the kid feels most comfortable. And it doesn't matter, any prior relationships. It doesn't matter, what guy you talk to the most. It matters what the kid hears. And
Yep.
I've always had a healthy respect for you in that aspect. But you've got another guy at that school who's not playing right now, and he's a 4-star wide receiver committed to LSU by the name of Joseph Stone Jr. Can you tell me something about JoJo's game and what you like about it the most and what you think he could work on?
JoJo's special. I mean, he does a lot of stuff. He does so much. He's in and out of breaks, in and out of cuts. He has ball. I mean, he can catch the ball. He has ball skills through the roof. Catch radius is crazy for somebody his size.
Right.
You can never be faster than him.
Right.
So we're gonna make sure he runs tracks this year. Get him on the track. Go drop a sub 10:40. 10:8, 10:9, 10:7, wherever you want to go with it. That's our goal.
Right.
So we can come back and clearly show the world what he truly is next football season.
No, that's crazy. So while we're talking about track speed, you got a guy who committed to Jackson State, and that is Robert CJ Lockhart Jr., I think. Mm-hmm. So the third, CJ the third, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So CJ Lockhart, he's committed to Jackson State, and I think he's injured right now, right?
Mm-hmm. With a possibility of coming back next week if we take care of business.
Okay. So CJ is a smaller guy, maybe about 5'7" at the most, somewhere in there. When you have a guy that size with that type of speed, What do you put in your offense to take to kind of take advantage of a guy like that?
When CJ was in the 9th grade, I told CJ, I said, for you to be recruited to get offers every time you touch the ball, you have to score.
Mm.
You have to be dynamic. That word is what describes him. Somebody that size, dynamic. And he is that. You have to be dynamic with the ball in your hand. You have to be like dynamite. You're gonna blow anytime he touches it. And he to this day, he still has that threat to. You never know when I'm gonna pop it because I'm so dynamic.
Right.
And he really took the challenge and he stood up to what I told him to do. And if you go back and watch his film for years, every time he touches, he's almost close to the end zone. If not
every time. He has
time.
some of the most fun. His sophomore tape is so fun to watch. And I remember when you like tapped me on the shoulder, you said, "Hey, dude, look, watch him." And I mean, we talk, right? But at the end of the day, like, when I saw it, I'm like, he can't have another guy. But man, CJ probably has the most entertaining film of any of your guys. And just seeing him dominate at that stature is crazy. So while we're talking about undersized guys, you've got a lot of them, but they're so fast. And you wouldn't be able to tell from the stats their stature. So you have the ability to play 6 foot guys all across the board, but you're still playing the best player. What has been your philosophy in playing the best player, even though, they may not be the prototypical guy that a lot of colleges want to recruit when it comes to size?
At Langston Hughes, it's a standard. The best gonna play. The best gonna play in the position.
Right.
And it's not always about the best athletically, the best, namesake or whatever. The best in who's gonna get the grasp the offense, the defense the best. Who's gonna give the best effort? Who is gonna understand the alignment and assignment and give unbelievable effort every play the best? So those are some of the reasons and why people on the field. The best are gonna play. And like I said, the best in that's an umbrella that spreads wide because it's multiple reasons why they're the best.
Right. Nah, absolutely. So let's go back to this. Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze gets the job at Auburn. When you first heard that, understanding how he came from being a high school coach and how he enjoys talking to high school coaches, and I think he offered a couple of your players. I know he definitely offered air. What do you think that Hugh Freeze will bring to Auburn?
Hugh Freeze, first off, it's a need, and Hugh Freeze will bring points. Offense scores points. He's going to score points. He's going to score a lot of points. He's going to be unique and he's going to be dynamic. And so that's what he's going to bring to Auburn. Auburn's always had a stout defense. I mean, even in the past, they were still defensively, they were still kind of right there. But what they were lacking is offensively. And he's going to go get the best kids and put them in the best situations. You see how he turned Malik into a draft pick, and he came from where? Auburn. And now he is at Auburn. He can get that next tier of kid, top kid in the country, in every position. And it's going to happen.
Let me ask you this. If Hugh Freeze would have been at Auburn the whole time, do you think some of your guys may have been committed?
Yes, no question.
Wow. No question.
No question.
When you think about a Hugh Freeze and you think about his offense and you think about how he talks to guys, as far as quarterback development, what do you think Hugh Freeze would be able to create around air?
Uniqueness in his offense.
Okay.
When I say uniqueness in offense, I don't know if he's ever had a lefty.
Okay.
So all his formations and stuff being strength to the most of the time the defense's weakest side is going to be a strength. He'll be able to get to things. A lot of times with a left-hand quarterback, your left tackle has to play right tackle.
Right.
Best tackle has to play behind the quarterback. So he's going to play right tackle instead. So it's just going to give him different ways and different formations to get to what he wants to from the other side of the field. And a lot of people don't look at it like that.
Man, all right. So speaking of that, so Bo Hughley plays right tackle for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your left tackle is Dontrell Glover.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have been telling me Dontrell has probably the most potential of any lineman you've ever had.
Yes,
What
no
do you
question.
what do you see in Dontrell's game? And I know he's visited Auburn already a few times. And what does Auburn have to do to make sure they get his name on the dotted line?
Dontrell is one. He's the meanest lineman. When I say mean and nasty is an understatement of what Dontrell is as a football player. He is going to dominate the line of scrimmage. His guy, every time we line up, he is the one, the emotion, you can see it, the energy coming from it, the effort, all that coming from it. What's it going to take for Auburn? They just have to show him they love him. I mean, they got to show him he's the kid that we want.
Right.
He's the kid to bring into this university, and he's going to make the university better.
Right.
That's all these kids need to feel.
That's right. And a lot, he's kind of under the radar, but you look at him, he has like LSU. I know Florida's been on him. I know I know Georgia's been taking a look. So it seems like people know about him, but he hasn't blown up yet, but he's still young.
He hasn't blown up because he is a 2020.
He's 25, right?
25 kid. And I mean, it goes slow.
Right,
a lot of times the offensive line coach don't get out. So I mean, in his position, he know it's gonna happen. It's gonna come to him, and he understands that.
So when it comes to guys like that, to any of the high school kids that are watching, what do you tell them about being patient and waiting on the best opportunity for them?
I often try to tell them what's for you is for you. Don't, because I mean, it's just like anything else. When you press, it's never going to work. You have to be patient and let it come. I'm going to work tirelessly. I'm going to exhaust all my options to make sure every football player that I have has a scholarship opportunity or an opportunity to go play at the next level. I think that a lot of times social media fights against me because this kid's getting offered, that kid getting offered. Why am I not getting offered?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's on. Like I tell you, I had a situation with I told my team about a story. And basically, sum it up. This position coach at a college, I ain't gonna name the college, he brought his position players in his room and he put a picture up of his family. He showed them the picture on the projector, and he said, "If you don't perform, my kids don't eat." He had 5 kids. He said, so when we're lackluster about this, we're gonna everybody's. I mean, it's the way the game goes.
Right.
Like if you don't perform, my kids don't eat.
Right.
So I can't have you over there playing. It's the truth. Right. I'm gonna be fired, gone. You'll still be here, but I'll be gone.
Right.
That's a harsh reality of what's going on and what college football is.
Nah, you're right. So this weekend, you guys are playing Rome on Friday night at Lakewood.
Yep.
Rome is really talented.
Yep.
A really good defensive lineman and Steph Green going to Clemson. Another guy that Auburn recruited early, Martell Height, a tight end. Got a cornerback that's pretty good. They got some guys. What is Langston's philosophy going to be this week in order to come out victorious? And how do you keep these guys humble knowing that they're probably going to be the favorite in every game they play?
Playing Rome is going to be a tough task. I lost, I've been up late, up early watching film, up late watching film this week because, like I said, they do a good job. They got some guys, they got athletes all over the field. Coach Reeves, those guys, they do an amazing job of getting guys in position. I mean, they've been blowing out people. They've been not giving up a lot of points. So it's going to be a very physical game, and, we're going to come to play. And the edge for us is we have to play nice Hughes football. I mean, At the end of the day, we got to get back to the base of what we've been doing all year. We can't go recreate ourselves in game 14. We got to keep playing like we've been doing the last few years. We've been just playing football and having fun at the end of the day. That's what it's going to take. How do I keep this team humble? This team was 2-8. So I never let them forget that. Hey, remember where we came from? Let's not go get cocky, get big, and let's understand who we are and handle business. And my quarterback does a good job of just trying to keep everybody in the middle of the road.
No, that's crazy that you said that because I saw a clip the other day of Eric telling everybody. I think it was against Woodward, and he was saying like, "Hey man, we can't lose this game. Period. Like, there's no option. We cannot lose this game." And seeing you guys being 21-21 at halftime and winning 56-28, I said, "Whatever happened at halftime, it happened. It happened." And I've seen it a couple of times this year. What happens when you guys make that adjustment at Langston and the light just comes on and it's like it's a brand new team? What happens in that halftime or whenever that light switch goes off?
We get back to the basics. I mean, it's not a recipe for success. Anytime we're not playing our brand of ball, we just have to calm down, coaches, players, and we have to remember one play at a time, and our goal is to go 1-0. So I'll reel them all the way back in. Hey, win the play.
Right.
We'll go 1-0 this play. Go 1-0 this drive. Go 1-0 this quarter. We win the game. It's simple.
Boom. So, really, like, some folks calling you like the Dion of the South Side, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when you came to Langston Hughes, it wasn't that. Just the same way that Dion came to Jackson State. I know you got some guys looking at you at another level. What's your plan? What's your goal? Like, right now, do you see yourself becoming the greatest coach in the history of the South Side, or do you see yourself getting into the college game? Like, what's your goal?
Man, you know what? I haven't even thought about it. I've been so in tune with this season, man. I really don't know. I love high school football. I will say that. I think that being coaching the high school football, it gives me a lot of pleasure. I don't think it's anything like Friday Night Lights. I know colleges play on Saturday, so that'll be vastly different. But everybody at every level understands what Friday Night Light might look like.
Right.
So.
No, that's cool. So before we get out of here, I know, we from the A. What the Falcons got to do to get to the playoffs, dog?
Man, the Falcons just we gotta make smarter decisions. I mean, the Falcons have to stick with something and go with it. Let's here we are midway through the season, past midway through the season. Right now, if a guy's not working out, let's try to make a change sometimes.
Ooh, so you on swap Mariota, even though like they don't even have a roster to do it. Boom.
Give him a chance.
Give him a chance. He might bring something out of him.
It's a spark. It doesn't matter what the spark looks like, as long as it's a spark.
Right. Nah, that's dope. Boom. Tell everybody where they can find you at and where they can find your team.
They can find me on Instagram, WilliamsDO. Twitter, the same, WilliamsDO. LangstonHughesFootball.org is our school's website, and Langston Hughes Football is our Instagram. Twitter is Recruit Langston. That's where you can find about us, about me, and all the Langston Hughes news.
And you know what, man? Shout out to Big Ben. Shout out to Larry O, my partner. Shout out to Lingo Bingo. Shout out to Big Mike. Shout out to the whole coaching staff. Anybody I missed. Shout out to Langston. Shout out to the South Side. Shout out to Westlake Creekside. And man, it was good having you on, man, because it's like everything coming full circle, man. We should dream about this. You feel me?
Yeah,
for sure, man. We here now. Hey, man, make sure y'all like and subscribe at Dukes the Scoop, Twitter and Instagram, man. Thank y'all. We out. For sure.